Hello everyone, this is Oreo Blaster. In this video we're going to be going over what I would say is basically the main or only really Ana build, and just covering what's like basically why you pick certain talents on each tier. So just sort of just like a talent overview, and also just looking at her abilities and how they synergize with her different talents. So first, as you know, obviously we have the healing dart, which is Ana's main, her main source of healing, where she shoots a healing dart in a line. And it hits the first ally that it hits, or it heals the first ally that it hits, and then it stops moving. It doesn't pass through unless you do a quest at level 1. You just spawn a few of these. All right. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, try to heal, it gets stopped at the first ally that it hits. Now that can mean that, let's say this person is dying, and then this person's moving around a whole bunch. You gotta try to finagle your way around and be like, alright, now I can hit this person. Because sometimes you'll be trying to move, and then your ally will inadvertently be body blocking this person, which can be a real issue with her, and that's also why she's a pretty difficult character to get like really good healing numbers on. I would argue that she is just about like a better Morales, or like essentially like the best. I don't know if I'd say heal bot, but just constant, reliable heals that aren't draining her of that many resources. Because Medic runs out of energy, and Medic also has no way to really defend herself other than grenade, or her grenade that she can throw out. They did what's it called? The displacement grenade. And Ana has the sleep dart, which is not only a displacement or like a sort of form of self-peel, but it's also really good for setting up engages, catching people out. And Bio Grenade has a lot of utility. Basically, Ana's kit has way more utility than Morales' kit, it feels. Morales is best when you're trying to pocket a Vala or a Greymane or some auto attack like ranged carry or melee, because you can just focus everything on them, and it's really easy because you just mark them and you're good to go.
This is much better than
so one of the big tricks with Ana is trying to hit the actual person you want to be healing. Like, see, oh, and then of course it is a skill shot, so I can be going and then, oh, hit that. It's like, whoops, I missed. So that can be really bad. So you need to make sure that you're either weaving in heals with autos, like that. So as you can see, you can, if you're auto attacking in perfect rhythm, you can get 3 autos off before you need to, I missed that one, before you need to heal again. And obviously you're not always going to be able to auto, and that's fine. But it's good to keep that in mind. Oh, I'm really dumb. I need to reset my team level. Okay. Wait, no. Oh, I forgot there is no. I don't have any enemies. I can't change their level. I forgot that that's not going to affect the target dummies, so I wanted to make sure. Alright, so you can shoot through allies, which is nice. It's convenient. And then Bio Grenade is you put a healing grenade somewhere, and wherever you throw it, your allies get healed, and they also receive bonus healing, 25% bonus healing for 4 seconds. This is really good if, as you can see, I do 520 heals. Sorry, I need, not super familiar with how the sandbox controls are set up. So I did 520 healing, now I'm doing 650. This can be really good to get in 2 extra heal darts that are just essentially empowered. It can also be really good to give it to an ally like Gul'dan when he's draining life, or when Blaze is healing in his fire, because then you actually amplify that healing, and that can be very significant. So Bio Grenade is good for that. It also does very minimal damage to enemies. However, it also puts a or a healing debuff on them where they are not able to receive healing for 2 seconds. So that can be really, really useful. Especially against heroes like Rhaegar and like Alex Traza, who have incredibly telegraphed heals. Rhaegar with Ancestral and Alex with her Abundance Circle. So Bio Grenade has a ton of utility. And then Sleep Dart does basically what you think it would do. Shoot a slow-moving projectile and it hits the first enemy hero that it comes into contact with, and it puts them to sleep for 3 seconds. If they take damage while they're asleep, because the sleep acts as a stun, if they take damage, then they wake up. And they also can't be woken up for 0.5 seconds after getting slept, just to make sure that it's not like you sleep them and they instantly wake up to like a dot or something. And her passive, as you saw when I was auto-attacking these target dummies, is that it applies a very tiny DOT on them that it can end up being pretty significant, because it can be up to these at level 20, 96 damage over 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. That's a pretty big dot, but again, this is level 20. But it's still significant damage. And it also has good synergies with some of her future talents. So on to her talents. So Anna has 3 level 1 quests on her talents. She has 3 level 1 quests, all of which are pretty fun to try to complete, but it feels like only one really stands out as being just the best on that tier. So we have Grenade Calibration. You have to hit enemy heroes with Biotic Grenade, and the payoff is that Biotic Grenade starts doing more damage for each enemy hero hit, and eventually gets to the point where it has a much, much larger radius. And also, the healing buff lasts for 12 seconds instead of 4. That is a very long time, especially considering that Bio Grenades cool down to 16 seconds. Piercing Darts allows you to, after hitting enough heroes with Sleep Dart, allows you to be able to have a Piercing Sleep Dart and eventually get Piercing Heals. And Detachable Box Magazine, you have to stack doses on enemy heroes. After you reach the maximum doses, or after you finish the quest for this by reaching 5 doses a bunch of times, your doses do more damage, and you also unlock the active reload ability, which allows you to get 3 charges of your healing dart immediately. So I don't know how to really phrase this. It's just that, so Piercing Darts is what allows Anna to solo heal. It also is what enables her to heal from a very long distance away from a fight. Where is the complete quests? So let's look at this grenade. So before, as we saw, this is the inner circle was the initial grenade size. So we have that's the non-upgraded grenade radius. And the upgraded grenade radius is massive. Like, it's actually insanely big. However, that still feels like it's really strong, and with other grenade talents it's really good, but comparing that to Piercing Heal, okay, so essentially this is good, but Piercing Heals are just generally better. So let's look at those.
You won't regret it.
Sound effect. I feel like that's going to be really loud. So as you can see, Sleep Dart is now has an incredibly long range, like a ridiculously long range, and her healing darts go incredibly far as well. So before I had to be roughly right there to heal. Now I can be as far away as here, and yeah, I see I even have a feel for how far this is. Yeah, I was actually like about at the exact distance. I am so ridiculously far away from this healing dummy. Like, I can just be off doing my own thing over here, and oh, there we go, gotta heal. Oh, I'm coming out of spawn. I need to heal somebody. Heal both of them. Having the piercing heal and the fact that it pierces for 100% healing as well is just ridiculous. Like, it makes her such an insanely good healer, and all it really requires from you is finishing the quest, but also being able to constantly position so that you can, let's say, heal usually your tank as sort of like the anchor. Like, you're always healing the tank, and then you're switching out the other thing that you're healing based on who needs to be healed. Like, so if you have your squishy backliner takes a bit of damage, you still like pivot to your healing your tank in the front, but then you can catch them, and then maybe there's like someone right there, and you can heal them and your tank still. And it doesn't have to be your tank, it's an example, because usually your tank is taking a beating because that's their job. So the Sleep Dart quest is just absolutely insane, and it also, I forgot to mention, it also makes your Sleep Dart pierce, which means you can set up crazy plays with Sleep Dart. Now let's look at the last one. Detachable box magazine. It makes you do 50% more damage with your strike when all of them are stacked on somebody, which you know is a lot of damage, but it also, like, you're not really playing Ana for damage. You're playing her to be a support, and if you're playing her for damage, you're doing it in a very misguided way, since it's just not worth it. And it gives me the active reload ability, which means that I can heal. Let's say I can use this and I can press this active, and I get 3 charges of healing dart immediately. So I can like rapid fire heal somebody, which is the one thing that Ana has a little bit of a hard time doing, is just like really quick burst heal. So this is certainly good in its own way. So ultimately, all these talents can be good, and I think that it's actually even it's less about how they synergize with other talents on the tier, but just how they work with her as a healer. Ana wants to be healing a lot from relatively far away, so that's because she doesn't have any mobility of her own, and she has no self heal other than just putting a bio grenade at your feet, and that's like a very, very small heal. It almost feels like it's not worth the mana sometimes. So the problem is Ana really wants to play super far back and be able to heal people a lot, and also catch people out with Sleep Dart, and piercing darts just work so insanely well with that there's really no reason to take the other ones, because you don't need her to like be doing this kind of burst healing. I mean, theoretically it's also even better with let's just try that. It's even better with the healing grenade. Like, I just healed for almost 6,000 almost 6,000 instantly from that. But it's like, again, that's dumping everything into that burst heal, and now every time that I can't use this, I have to be sad and be really close to the team fight. And also, as you know, as piercing would imply, it also means that your allies aren't able to body block by accident as much, which is really nice for landing heals that are like really important for you to get down on somebody so that they don't die. I like how the minions are just passively getting that. I'm not even doing anything. So ultimately, piercing darts just feels like the best level 1 no matter what. And it's just because it's more of just what she wants to do as a character rather than it being like objectively better, like stats wise or something. So let's just go through these. So Overdose, hitting enemy heroes with Sleep Dart applies 3 doses. That's pretty strong, especially with Mind-Numbing agent on level 7 that we'll cover. This is usually the default pick because it also has good synergy with piercing darts, because you can hit 2 heroes and therefore stack a total of 6 doses. Aim down sights is really underwhelming. It theoretically would work really well with this box magazine quest, because you could be hitting people from farther away, and like I could be over here and I'm out of range of another ranged assassin. However, you have to activate it. It makes your movement speed, you move 20% slower, and it also has a 10-second cooldown, which is really, I don't know why it has that. So if you activate it, you also can't leave it for, I think, 2 or 3 seconds. It just seems like a really bad idea. I mean, it's like, again, you'd only take that if you're going DPS Ana. So it just seems like you're actively nerfing yourself, like with Gul'dan's Dark Bargain or something, for no real benefit. And Airstrike is a way to... It baseline reduces the cooldown of your bio grenade, which is pretty good. And it also allows you to use your grenade. So you can see the range indicators. I'll stand right here. Should be right over the... Where is it? There. So I can throw a grenade right there, and it will land in 4 seconds. And obviously, if you pair that up with the grenade calibration quest, that ends up being a very large area from a very far away distance. But again, it's like comparing that for the grenade build, it just seems like it's not quite worth it, because it doesn't have much synergy with other stuff other than the grenade calibration quest, and you only get another boost to the grenade quest at level 16. So this talent just doesn't feel like it's worth it. On level 7, we have temporary blindness, sleep dart blinds, which is for 2 seconds. It's exactly what it sounds like. When targets wake up, they're blinded for 2 seconds. This is incredibly good against, obviously, auto attackers, but it can also just be really good against characters that, for whatever reason, rely on auto attacks to do anything. Like, I mean, you could like sleep dart Tron, and that would actually be really good, because that means she can't auto attack and get her cooldown reduction. Or characters that have some form of battle momentum where they get cooldown reduction from auto attacks. It can be really, really handy. It, however, is just in the shadow of Mind-Numbing Agent, which is probably Ana's most insane talent, if you don't count the Sleep Dart quest as being in the craziest talent in her kit. You can, with every dose you stack on somebody, you do minus 15% spell power, up to 75, which means that if you're hitting a caster like Jaina, she just does almost no damage, which is absolutely crazy. And that has insane synergy with Overdose, because if you hit somebody with a sleep dart, they automatically will have minus 45% spell power, just from getting hit by a sleep dart if you have this. So this is just like a crazy talent that is very powerful, and actually helps Ana really disable some divers that rely on spell damage, and also disable any forms of healing, because spell power is also, or healing is also considered spell power. So if you hit like a Morales with 5 ticks or 5 doses, then she will only be healing for 25% of her normal amount, which is a lot less. And Debilitating Dart is generally just underwhelming compared to these other two. It's not like terrible, but the biggest problem with it is that it is a skill shot that you have to fire. It's just like Sleep Dart. But the issue with it is that it's a skill shot, and it reduces their damage output by 50% for 4 seconds. But Mind-Numbing Agent already does that, but it does it better, and it's not a skill shot. I mean, if you don't count hitting the Sleep Dart as a skill shot, I guess it's kind of a skill shot. And Sleep Dart Blinds is also something that completely negates all physical attack, or basic attack damage, so physical damage. So Debilitating Dart just feels like a more complicated version that is like a little bit of both, but it doesn't feel that great because it is a skill shot. And I'm not saying it's bad because, oh, that means you have to be good and land a skill shot. It just seems like it's not really worth it. like, cool, I used my debilitating dart on that person. They can't do that much damage now. Well, it just feels really underwhelming, and it also has a 45-second cooldown, whereas technically temporary blindness only has a cooldown equal to your sleep dart, which is 14 seconds. It can hit 2 separate people, and Mind-Numbing agent has no cooldown because it's just tied to your auto attacks.
Understood.
For ults, Nano Boost is the generically, like, really easy fire and forget one, where you just give somebody, you just click on somebody, give them a Nano Boost, and they get 30% spell power, 200 mana, and 150% faster cooldown reduction, or basic ability cooldown recharge rate, and that lasts for 8 seconds. And it's on a 50-second cooldown, which is honestly kind of crazy. So this is just generically good. The only downside, and the devs addressed this by actually creating a overlay for people who are affected by Nano Boost so that they actually know, oh, I'm Nano Boosted, because before, people for whatever reason weren't noticing when they got Nano Boosted. So it would be essentially a wasted ult. And Eye of Horus is one where it allows you to fire healing or damaging darts anywhere on the map, and they come into contact with the first hero or an enemy structure they hit. So let's check this out. So when you activate it, you set up. You can't move unless you press W or E to exit it, and you can do that. And if you exit without firing any shots, it puts it on a reduced cooldown. And that's something that I don't see very many people do at all. Like, it's really handy if, let's say, oh, there's someone top lane. Do I need to? Okay, no, I don't need to anymore. And then you just put it back. You put it away. It's really convenient. However, if you do want to heal people or do something, you set up. You hit the first person that is in a line from you, and it is hit scan, which is really nice. You can also hit an enemy and it does some damage. Or you can hit a structure and it does half damage to structures. And you have 8 shots. And the fire rate is about 1 per second. So a way that I usually go or use it, because I actually almost always pick Eye of Horus unless I'm doing some kind of combo with somebody, is that let's say I'm healing. Missed that. Let's say I'm healing and then, oh, this person's taking too much damage. I'll immediately switch over to and use a few shots of Eye of Horus, or stay on Eye of Horus if I can, if I don't like need to switch, because your healing dart has a 2-second cooldown, and if you know someone's gonna die before the 2 seconds is up, you can always Eye of Horus to get like an immediate heal that also does a bit more healing. It can be really, really handy, especially if you need to save someone who's getting really low. Let me fix the structures. Okay, whatever. These minions can figure out how they want to deal with this. I do note that if, let's say, I want to heal this enemy is technically in the way, so I have to angle it a bit off to the side, and hopefully their hitbox is still visible. So I tend to prefer Eye of Horus because it helps enable you as a soul support, but Nano Boost is obviously just a generically good talent, or good upgrade. On level 13, I would say that this is probably the most conditional tier. Maybe other than this tier, because I do think that Sleep Dart Blinds is really good and that it is worth considering. But Mind-Numbing Agent is almost always the pick. Like, if they have like a Butcher or a Greymane who's like their main damage, you can totally go with the Temporary Blindness. Or even like a Samuro or Tracer, someone who almost entirely relies on physical damage. So on this tier, you can give somebody move speed for 2 seconds. 25% move speed for 2 seconds. You can remove slows and roots from the target, and also does a bonus heal if you do cleanse them of something. Or you can do your healing darts remove stuns and gives your ally 50 armor for 2 seconds if you do that. So I think that Speed Serum, unless like, you only want to take Speed Serum if they're like completely just the enemy team is just has absolutely no CC. But even then, I'm always tempted to get Purifying Darts because you can always slow or you can always remove the fort auto attack slow, because like if someone dives the fort, they're like let's say your tank starts diving the fort, they're gonna get hit by the shots on it, and then they're gonna get slowed by a bunch. So I think that being able to cleanse that and also give someone bonus heals while they're diving is actually really, really useful. And almost every team has some form of slows or roots that you can cleanse. And smelling salts is obviously insane if you hit someone who recently got stunned, and because it's basically it's a skill shot cleanse on a 2-second cooldown. That can pierce. It's like ludicrous if you take the the piercing darts quest. So I think that this tier is really conditional, but I almost always go somewhere between purifying darts and smelling salts. It can also sometimes be worth it to take smelling salts over purifying darts, even for like one major form of CC. Like if they have Octograb, if you cleanse someone who's being Octograb, they just pop out of it, have 50 armor, and then they walk away. And Murky's like, oh, my 50-second ult got negated by a 2-second ability. And also, if somebody's standing in an AoE stun like Mosh Pit, they'll still gain the armor, but they're not going to be stun cleansed. So that can be a really good way to try to save people if you can't sleep ETC for whatever reason. You can just give the people in an armor. So on 16, Sharpshooter is essentially the only talent to take here. It gives you bonus healing based on how many times you've hit a hero in a row with your healing dart. More times that I hit this person, the more healing they get from me, up to 50%. And if you miss one time though, you lose it. So the really cool thing about that with piercing darts is that you have essentially you have the ability to hit somebody from farther away, and also can hit 2 people, which I can't remember if it. I should know this. Miss. Yeah, okay, so if you hit 2 people, it still counts as 1, but it just makes it easier. If you heal someone who's full health, you don't get a stack, but you don't lose any stacks. So Sharpshooter is just really strong because if you can maintain anything above 25%, it doesn't really matter. It's not like some kind of specific number, but if you can maintain a pretty good accuracy rate with Anna, you can just have absolutely insane healing. Concentrated Doses increases the healing dart's healing by 10% for each dose active on enemy heroes. Theoretically, you could say, well, why is Sharpshooter better than this? This seems way better because you can have more than 5 doses on enemy heroes and you do way more healing. And that's true, but usually at this point in the game, it can be really hard to consistently auto-attack enemy heroes in a way that would allow you to maintain doses that would give you healing bonuses. It's certainly not a bad talent. It just feels like this is generically better. And contact healing is a huge burst heal if you actually hit a lot of heroes as they bunch up, if you're going grenade build. But ultimately, it just feels like it falls short because grenade build is just generally bad. On level 20, you have Nano Infusion. Allies affected by Nano Boost heal for 50% of the spell damage dealt. That is absolutely crazy for heroes like, well, really just any mage, but like let's say a Li Ming who has to, if she's Calamity build or Teleport build, and she's being really aggressive by teleporting into the enemy team, every time she's doing damage, she's just healing for that. So it can make them almost unkillable, especially like a Jaina with Ice Barrier. They just like can't die unless they get CC'd and aren't able to cast anything. So I think if you take Nano Boost, you should almost always take Nano Infusion just because it is such a crazy buff. Ballistic Advantage feels like it should be good, but you don't really need it with Horus, because ideally you're only going to be hitting like the one person that you need to be hitting, and you don't really want it to splash necessarily. Again, it's not a bad talent, but the other ones are a bit better. So yeah, they explode to do like a burst around them. So let me just show what that looks like, since I'm not really explaining it. So
Setting.
now everybody in this radius gets hit, damaged or healed, which can be really good if you're trying to hit somebody who's next to a wall because it splashes. But at the same time, it just feels like you don't need it. You just don't need it.
Very well.
Also at level 20, we have Somnolent Doses. Upon stacking 5 doses on a hero, that hero gets put to sleep for 2 seconds. This has really strong synergy with Overdose because you can
Correct choice. Let's get to work.
just go through this again. If you take Somnolent Doses, you can sleep somebody, and then if they were to wake up again, how do I phrase this? Let me let those wear off. You sleep somebody, or sleep 2 people, let's say. They like this person has 3 ticks of strike on them, and then you can auto attack them twice, and they fall asleep again immediately. So it can be a very good way to lock down, like let's say a Tracer or a Genji or someone who's super highly mobile. If you hit them with the sleep dart, that's amazing, and you can just stack the second sleep on them. And if you aren't able to hit them with the sleep dart, you can just auto attack them 5 times, and they'll fall asleep. So that's really handy.
On the move.
Dynamic shooting is a way to sort of almost become Tychus as Ana, where you just start firing really quickly. It feels weaker than somnolent doses. But it's really good if you're looking to just get damage in. If you're like trying to core rush at level 20 and you just need damage, then you can go with that. And custom optics is something you can only take if you picked aim down sights. It feels just not quite that good because, I mean, obviously it's really crazy because you get a lot of range, but aim down sights is just so bad that it can't really shine ever because you never want to take it. Like, okay, so her basic attack range
Orders received.
is basically to the gate from that dummy. Now with custom optics, it can be this far away. So that's cool because again, you're out of range of the enemy, but then someone on the enemy team dives you. Oh no, I'm slowed. I need to get out of this aim down sights mode, and then you have to scurry away, and then you realize that you're Ana and don't have 3 dashes, and then you die, and then you're sad. So ultimately, it's just not worth picking. So to run through that again, the build that I think is the universally solid build is Piercing Darts, Overdose. One of these 2, but almost often Mind-Numbing Agent. Kind of personal preference, but I swear for solo healing, unless you're comboing specifically with another hero, I have Horus. You almost always Purifying Darts unless they have notable CC. And if you don't feel confident healing when tower diving, then you could totally go Speed Serum, but Purifying Darts. Sharpshooter is basically always the pick, and I think that I either Nano Boost upgrade or Somnolent Doses because it's really strong CC, or dynamic shooting it if you need extra damage. So I know this was a very lengthy discussion of her talents, but I think it's important to describe why talents are underused or underpicked, because if you just sort of look at a guidance and the guide says take these talents because these other ones are bad, it's not really giving you any greater understanding of why you shouldn't. It's just pointing you in one direction, and by knowing why they don't work or why they're less effective when they do seemingly very different things is really good to know, because then it can give you a better grasp of the strengths of the build that you are going, and how you can use them, or how you can exploit those strengths in a way that allows you to actually be more effective with the build, I should say. I don't know if that came out right. I think it did. So anyways, I think that Ana is a very, very strong healer. I think that she outclasses most other healers, and the only issue that she has is that can be very hard to play because all of her healing is skill shots. But if you position properly with her and play further back from Piercing Darts and are also able to maybe get some mind-numbing agent hits in on the enemy, shut them down a bit, set up amazing sleep darts. Like you can, her skill cap feels like it is actually surprisingly high, and then you can end some games with like, I mean, easily over 100,000 healing, and then I've had some games where it's even been up to like 200k on like longer maps with a tanky team. She is really strong, and the only limiting factor is the player's ability to land those skill shots. Are the minions going to end it for us? Cool. So, on that note, because the minions clearly thought that the time is up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna be posting Ana gameplay in the future. Maybe like a replay analysis of a really good Ana game I had or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was informative. I will be linking the build, or I'll be like posting the build in the comments for people who just want to see what it was really quickly. But again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video or on stream. Take care.